how do we move forward and engage politically with different subgroups of the Western society in a way which doesn't compromise our own teachings in an ideological way?
Your question is one that cannot be answered in 5 minutes, and it cannot be answered by one person.
Okay.
You will find a spectrum of opinions.
Right.
And I will try my best to summarize. And again, to the audience once again, this is a short, brief summary. Please don't take on a phrase and then extrapolate my full meanings. If there's any misunderstanding, listen to my other lectures about these issues. This is a short interview. We all have a role to play. And ulama are not the same as politicians, right? And the ulama have a responsibility in the eyes of Allah to be much more, for lack of a better term, pure, much more clear-cut. But there are other people who are a part of our community, and they don't represent the theology or the legal rulings of our community, but they consider themselves to be a part of our community, and they decide to go different ways, right? They don't really care much about what me and you have to say about the topic, because they're not representing the faith as a tradition. They're representing the community as a person of the community. We have to be mature enough, and I'm being careful with my words, to understand that even if we disagree with some of their stances, we actually end up benefiting from a lot of what they do. Regardless of our position, the fact that they do that comes back to us and benefits us as a community and gives us more political rights. So this is the conundrum that we have. We can criticize as much as we want, and to a level we do need to criticize. But even in that criticism, we need to be mature enough to understand that our Prophet ﷺ said, sometimes Allah helps this religion with a fajr. With a fajr, right? It doesn't justify the fujur of the fajr, right? But what do we do when we end up benefiting from what this community or this group of activists or these politicians do? But we also have to recognize we benefit from what they're doing.
What I would ask is that this is a game of maslaha and mafsada, really, isn't it? So we were looking at the maslaha and the mafsada, and that's why we're trying to weigh up, okay, is the maslaha here is actually more or less than a mafsada? But the question is that, from a da'wi perspective, if someone comes and says, well, look at these people, they claim to represent the Muslim community, and they're saying that they don't have a problem with, I don't know, abortion issues or homosexuality issues or whatever, in a way that no Muslim would agree with.
Excellent.
They're using taqiyya.
Excellent. Let me be very clear here. If a Muslim says that Islam allows these things, and Islam allows what is clearly not applicable, right? This is something that we need to have zero tolerance and compromise for. And I have no problem saying this is beyond the red line. We cannot support or endorse anybody who is basically wanting to change the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is more problematic and more nuanced, and I'm not saying right or wrong, I'm not pronouncing a verdict, but I'm saying we need to be mature and brave enough to differentiate between that person versus the one who says, I'm not speaking as a Muslim, I'm speaking as an American, as a British, or whatever it might be, right? And I'm saying our country and its laws should give freedom to this. And the person happens to be a Muslim, or a hijabi, or a brother by the name of Mohammad or Sadiq or somebody like this, okay? And they're saying, as a citizen, as a politician, as a mayor, let me allow freedoms for all of these people. They don't bring in Allah and His Messenger, okay? I think we need to be brave enough to differentiate between the two, because there is a difference between the two. Now, I'm not saying what they're doing is right, but the first category is clear-cut.
But you're saying that if they go against some of the primary principles of Islam, in whatever tongue they speak in, that's unacceptable. So, for example, if they say that, I don't know, homosexual sex is
morally permissible,
or that abortion
that is definitely crossing the red line.
Yeah.
But if they say that the politics of this country should not interfere in the personal lives in the bedrooms, right? This is a language that is much better than the first one. And even if I don't like it, we have to be brave and mature enough to say that's not the same thing.
Okay.
We in America have our own masalih and mafasid, because our situation is different. Our situation is very different. And we, by and large, amongst our scholarly community, amongst the active du'at, have taken a stance about specific individuals that it is not in our maslahah
To go
cut
against
off
them.
from them.
Okay.
It's not in our maslahah.
Yes.
We gain more by them being with us, and we, alhamdulillah, are very clear that we do not agree
With
that,
them on these issues.
Yes, we are very clear.
Okay.
But to cut off from them and to warn against them, no. We benefit politically with allying with certain people.
From a political angle, I think this could be a boomerang, because what could happen is that, especially the neoconservative right-wing enemy, can say, look,
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not a politician.
Right.
But it's easier for mashayikh and ulama and du'at to speak the truth. And that's why the Khulafa al-Rashidun are the Khulafa al-Rashidun. They're the exception.
Yes.
They're the exception.
Yes.
That's why we aggrandize and even in the last of their times, amongst the Muslim civil war happened, right?
Yes.
So by and large, I am somebody who wants to avoid all of this. But those of us that are outside the field, we need to understand that there is some benefit for us when somebody does something in that world. And in order for them to do that,
yes,
they have to live very differently and say differently than we do. So I'm not supporting,
yes,
but you never find me becoming a great enemy of the people.
Yes,
that are
I get the
supporting
point.
Muslim
It's a fine
politics.
balance.
It's a fine balance. And that's why, if you look at my Twitter and Facebook, I've never ever... Look, as long as a person wants to benefit the ummah as a civilization, right? I can't take that person as an enemy, even if I disagree with specific issues that they have. There are politicians
Jidri
we
issues,
have.
important issues.
Yeah, but I'll disagree theologically and
Yes,
morally.
yes.
But I won't cut off and
Yes.
take that person as an enemy when they are in the long run in some way, directly or indirectly, benefiting the ummah. We have elected politicians, and again, here I can be public, this is public. The only muhajjib in our
Ilhan
Congress,
Omar.
Ilhan Omar, right? I strongly disagree
Yes.
with many of her stances on transgender and LGBT. Strongly disagree, right?
Yes.
But in the end of the day, her presence in that auditorium and hall is a huge blessing for us as a community, right? And it comes at a significant cost of it comes with a significant benefit of our political presence, right? You ask me,
Yeah. No,
But
yeah.
I'm not running for office, am I?
Right,
She's
right.
already there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't justify the ends, but we're talking theory and abstract. Let's get to reality. She's there. Are we benefiting or not? Yes, we are. You see what I'm saying here? So next time she runs for office, should the Muslim community boycott her? Should the Muslim community vote for the non-Muslim guy just because she has a view that is really wrong? But she's done all of this good for the Muslims.
But then
that's the question.
The question is, because now because we have to look at things from a Dawi perspective as well. If she's kind of muddying the waters and making it seem as if Islam is something which is not.
That's her muddying. I'm very clear, and anybody can watch my videos.
Yeah.
I'm very clear, and I can say publicly I don't support her in these issues. But overall, is her presence better for the community or not? That's the question.
For me, if I
was
was a voting man in America, I would vote for I'd rather vote for a left-wing non-Muslim than her. Because if that left-wing non-Muslim can do the thing without compromising the religion.
You're being theoretical. Do we have somebody running for the same seat that is giving the same positives and not muddying the waters of Islam? If that were the case, maybe I agree with you. What if the one running against her is a hardcore, fanatic, anti-Muslim bigot? Which is most likely the case. The Republican Party, right? What if she's the Democratic nominee and we have the other guy who wants to eliminate your mosque? I'm not telling you who to vote for. But I will tell you as an outsider, your Muslim mayor has had a positive impact on the presence of Muslims in the Gharb.
I can see what you're saying, but
that's all I'm saying.
We had a non-Muslim one before that I think was even better.
Might have been better for the city, but the presence of Islam in this community, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.